camp. We've got Luke Clayton, Jeff Rice, and they're out hunting somewhere else. I'm sitting on a deer blind, or in a deer blind, overlooking a beautiful Mesquite Valley.
We were invited out to shoot does and cull 8 points, and we got a few bucks in here this morning, some smaller ones.
I want to tell you today about how to prepare neck roast, venison neck roast. It could be wild pork neck roast.
Welcome to A Sportsman's Life. We're so glad you tuned in to join us for another exciting real-world outdoor adventure right here on A Sportsman's Life.
Hunting season for me is, I guess you call it interesting in a lot of different ways. It's one of the toughest I've ever been on. Tough hunts everywhere I've gone. We're in an area hunting with, with Brian Davis, who's with TRHP Outdoors in camp. We've got Luke Clayton, Jeff Rice, and they're out hunting somewhere else. I'm sitting on a deer blind, or in a deer blind, overlooking a beautiful Mesquite Valley. But also the wind's blowing about 35, 40 miles an hour. I was really surprised this deer stand that I'm in has not been blown over. It's really been one of those years, but you gotta, no matter what, you gotta keep trying. Now, this particular place that I'm hunting now, Brian has been in here with putting out a bunch of TRHP outdoor products, and including the mock scrapes and all those things prior to our arrival. We're on the tail end now of the deer season in terms of rut, I should say, in terms of the rut. For the most part, the primary rut's over with. There may be a little bit of the secondary rut coming on with some of the does that were bred the first go round, or that were bred and didn't conceive. And then too, there's a fair number of 6-month-old doe fawns that are probably old enough now and in a good enough body condition where they're experiencing their first estrus period. So I'm sitting here looking over a beautiful valley, as I say, and hopefully we'll be able to see something this afternoon. Kind of keep coming back again and again. In the background, you can hear the wind is really truly blowing. The temperature's probably in the mid-70s. I much prefer to be in the mid-30s right now. And the jacket and coat that I've got laying on the floor, I wish I were wearing those. But we'll see what comes this afternoon. We're in a really good spot. It'll be interesting to see how these deer react to this extremely hard wind that we got blowing up there.
Just sitting here watching this 9 point down there at the feeder. Beautiful afternoon, a little bit windy here in West Texas, but interesting thing about the McDaniel Ranch is part of the original Spade Ranch. Get out there, Google that, look it up, you'll see some history out here in this area. And the Spade Ranch was quite a large ranch. It's been divided up by, as I understand, different owners now own pieces of it. So it's so windy, my camera's blowing on the tripod. Gotta have about 40-mile-an-hour winds at the highest today. It's been blowing like crazy, but this little buck down here is just going to town. So I'm gonna turn the camera on, take one more look at him, and maybe something else will come in. But we're just having a great time in the blind. Let's take a look at this buck.
nice old buck here in Mitchell County. One of the counties I used to work years ago as a wildlife biologist. Matter of fact, spent some time on the ranch that we're on right now years ago doing spotlight surveys and game surveys. These guys that are here now, Brian Davis and the guys have done some fantastic work in terms of really producing a quality deer herd compared to what it was many years ago. So my hat's off to them, literally and figuratively, and figuratively as well too. This buck came in all by himself late this afternoon, and I got the kill shot, but unfortunately right after that, in a little quicker recovery, the camera battery died on me, so I didn't get an opportunity to do everything that I wanted to with a beautiful old buck.
Sportsman's life, folks. Wow. Amazing. Just a beautiful morning. Sun is coming up, and we're here at the McDaniel Ranch, just south of Colorado City, outside of Abilene, probably an hour south and west of Abilene. And we were invited out to shoot does and cull 8-points. And we got a few bucks in here this morning, some smaller ones, a bunch of does, and then this big 8-point came in, and well, we put a shot on him. About a 100-yard shot. We're using our 30-06 Hornady ammo. Did the trick. So we've got meat down. We've got to go get this guy and take him back to camp, get him hung up, and start cutting up some meat. But it's still early. It's 7:30 in the morning. Sun isn't even up yet. So I think for a bit I'll just sit here and just enjoy the sunrise. And I see a few other deer wandering out there, so we're just going to sit here and watch for a bit. So stay tuned. We'll be back here on the Sportsman's Life. Folks, look at that buck. What do you think, Larry?
I think you did good. I think you did extremely good. He's an old mature deer, no question. You can look at his body and tell that. Got a beautiful set of antlers, actually, and here he's considered a management buck, but I know a lot of places I've hunted, that would be considered a trophy buck. It's beautiful.
Just the body size alone, when I saw him come in, I thought he was bigger deer than, I mean, more points than larger deer just because of the body size. Well, he's a pretty guy, boy. Tell you what,
absolutely beautiful.
Great management buck. Thrilled to death. Look at that.
I was visiting while you were out hunting this morning. I was visiting with Brian Davis, who has this lease, and of course Brian's with TRHP Outdoors. And one of the things that they've been using is the preorbital and several other things. And what they're finding is it seems to hold bucks in an area, and it holds a bunch of bucks in an area. So it's one of those things that anybody can do. I mean, all those products are available through trhpoutdoors.com, among other places, are at a sporting goods store. And if it's not at a sporting goods store, you know, you can tell those guys, hey, why aren't you using that stuff, or why can't we buy it here?
Yep, they need to be using it. It is good stuff. Of course, we use it on all our hunts, and for sure, it's definitely the best products on the market. No question about it. Matter of fact, I sprayed a little out there earlier, so
Did you?
that may have brought him in. So, alrighty. Well, I guess we need to get him loaded up and back to camp, and we'll get a few pictures back there. And
Well, I think we're going to get a few here in the field. I want to get some right here where you are, and we'll get those, and probably end up doing a story or two about him as well too. So one more look at him. He is absolutely beautiful.
thrilled to death. It was just a good deer. Wow. All right, let's get some pictures.
Brought to you by Dallas Safari Club, Conservation, Education, and Hunter Advocacy. Hornaday, accurate, deadly, dependable. Taurus Firearms, maker of the Raging Hunter.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have Mr. Whitetail cleaning up my deer.
It is my pleasure. I like skinning deer.
Mucho apreciado.
I do like skinning deer. Mine and others as well too, especially those friends.
Ryan, what are you doing?
I'm applying this pre-orbital. What I do is anywhere we've got rubs around our feeders, I spray this pre-orbital, and I start doing it as soon as we start seeing rubs. So, you know, late August, early September, and every time I come out to the ranch, I check the feeders and reapply the pre-orbital. And to me, this is the most consistent scent. You know, unlike, you know, your doe estresses and your buck tarsal glands that you use primarily just during the rut. Like I said, we use this scent and then Curiosity scent pretty much all season long, and it keeps the deer, you know, it's made with the tinctures from the preorbital glands on the deer's head, which is what they're rubbing. You know, once they've rubbed that velvet off their antlers, they still rub, and what they're doing is they're rubbing their gland signature on the trees, you know, kind of marking their territory, if you will, and they do that, like I said, all season long. So by keep reapplying and keeping this preorbital fresh around the feeders, it draws in bucks and keeps them in the area, because they're thinking there's, you know, another buck. And you know, we've probably doubled, if not more, the number of bucks that we see consistently hitting these feeders where we apply this preorbital. So this is kind of our go-to scent out here. I mean, it's I was telling the owner, Gary, that they need to sell this stuff by like half-gallon gallon sizes, because that's how much we use of this stuff and how effective it is for us. So
It really does seem to keep bucks in an area.
it really does, man. I'm sold on it. We've been hunting this ranch for 8 years, and we've and killed a lot of big bucks, but I'm telling you, the last 2 years that we've been using this preorbital and Curiosity, and really all the TRHP scents, but like I said, primarily this preorbital and curiosity scent, we've doubled the amount of good bucks that we've killed and good bucks that we've seen. And I think I showed you, Larry, the picture of that, just under 160 class,
yes.
old buck. We never saw that buck,
Until
around any of our feeders until we started using this preorbital scent. And you can see we're going to be going around checking scrapes. This is a fairly new spot that we put up, but we got a spot that we're going to where you can see we sprayed this preorbital on the cedars around the feeder, and the bucks have literally snapped off cedar branches, rubbing on the cedars that we've applied this preorbital to. It's crazy.
it works.
It absolutely does.
Idea of fish fry at the deer camp, and I think it's a pretty dang good idea. We kind of fooled our fish, little saltwater fish.
Yeah, there's some black drum, there's some crappie. I think you
Catfish?
catfish, and maybe something other.
Sand bass.
Oh my gosh.
So we've got to, we'll show our friend, we got to start here with it, but we've got a lot more to,
More
turn,
fish to fry.
more, we got bigger fish to fry here. We really do. But it is,
But you know what? There's a madness behind all that, because I know that you've got, and Jeff also has fish in the freezer. But if we use that fish in the freezer, we got to go fishing again.
that'll give us a point.
So that's
Oh, no.
the use, right?
Well, yeah, we have to restock.
Oh, absolutely. We
But,
can't be depleted totally. so-
Exactly. But folks, we have venison in the cooler. I mean, does life get any better than this? Venison in the
No, it
cooler,
doesn't.
fish for the meal. Good gosh.
Fantastic place to come.
Oh.
Fantastic people that we've been dealing with, and the opportunity for the three of us to actually get together again.
Exactly. That's what the outdoors is all about.
It is. It's creating memories, and not only creating memories, but then also recalling memories from years past.
Exactly.
Amongst ourselves, but also some other people
Right.
that maybe some of the people aren't with us anymore. But
You were talking earlier, Larry, about these are fillets of fish. Now, when we were boys,
yeah.
I did not know. My dad didn't know what a fillet was.
no.
Scaled them and cut their heads off and cooked them whole, right?
Well, particularly like the little sunfish and things like that, we would just scale them, cut the scales off, gut them, cut the heads off from them, and you can almost eat them whole. And then, rather than fillet years ago, we never filleted. We cut across that thick.
They called it steaks, right?
Exactly.
My dad
where you would cut across
bones and all.
bones and all. Absolutely.
Yep.
And it was, oh my gosh, was it good.
Let's show a few of these right here. There we go. Let's get a good scoopful of these. There's that last minute of crispness that's involved with the frying of fish.
Oh, absolutely. It is.
If
It
they're
is.
not crisp, they're not right. I don't think. These should be pretty good.
They're good, they're good. They're
Well,
good.
honestly, Larry and I have already tested a couple. Yep, had to.
Don't tell anybody.
We can't tell them.
We did, and I can tell you, it is really delicious.
There's a blue catfish fillet out of Lake Tawaka. I remember him.
Is that the one I caught?
I think you did, Jeff. Okay, well, all right. So
You got one more little bit there, and then we'll start
Yeah,
the
we're
fried
almost-
taters on top
we are
of
almost there, Well, I'll pronounce this
it. Done.
and crispy. Crispy.
I would agree with that.
It's that last minute, I'm telling you boys, when you fry fish. If you take it out too early, it's not what we're looking
You
for.
don't want to.
Look at that drain.
That to me is just about perfect right there.
I don't think you get
A
any
Sportsman's
better.
Life is also brought to you by Air Force Air Guns, Pyramid Air, Sightmark, Skin 'em Right, Snaplock Hunting Blinds, Smoke and Tex, Striper Express, TRHP Outdoors, and Ultramatic Feeders.
Hi folks, it's a little wet outside, just kind of spitting rain, so I got inside my little cabin here. It kind of looks weird in the front probably, but I'm inside the little cooking shack that I've got out behind the house. I want to tell you today about how to prepare neck roast, venison neck roast. It could be wild pork neck roast, but venison is what we've got that I'm about to make some good barbecue out of. Just back from a hunt out in West Texas. Brian Davis, he's got a ton of land out there, awesome deer hunting. Larry Weissoon was with me. Mr. Jeff Rice was there, and also a new friend, Scott Campbell, was out there. So we had a good time. I took a couple of nice fat doe, and here's what I did. And you know, neck roast is something that you can, a lot of people just bone it out and make hamburger or put it in stews or maybe something like that nature, sausage, but they make an awesome roast. Now you can just cook it in the oven with carrots, potatoes, and onions, season it up with garlic. A neck roast is really good that way. Something about the bone-in neck roast that makes it just an awesome cut of meat, folks. So one of my favorite cuts of venison especially. So I want you to, I'm going to show you what it looks like cooking in the smoker and how I do it. I put it in an aluminum pan and I put some barbecue sauce on it. Of course, I season it with everything: garlic, black pepper, salt, anything that you like to season your meats with, put on there. And then I smoke it for about 2 hours at about 200 degrees. And then I wrap it and set it the smoker, my Smoking Tex electric smoker, which is right here. Set that at 225 and let it go for about 6 hours wrapped in foil. So let me show you what the neck roast looks like, but just remember, you might want to start making barbecue, make some awesome barbecue, or making it into a conventional roast with vegetables. So show you a look at it cooking. Okay, my friends, here are the two neck roasts. I have them in an aluminum pan, and they've been in my Smoking Tex electric smoker about 2 hours. They're nowhere near done, but they're well smoked. So now you see I have some foil, actually some foil right here on the to wrap them in on either side like this. I'm going to wrap these real tight. I'm going to put a little bit more barbecue sauce on them and wrap them up, and we're going to set that Smoking Tex at about 225, and we're going to let them go for, I don't know, about 6 hours. Then I'll bone this off. Folks, that's going to be some of the best barbecue you've ever tasted. So give you a look in a little bit, in a few hours actually, after this cooks. We'll undo it and take a look at the finished product. Well, friends, we have the finished product. I'm going to show you. We're going to open these up, but they cooked not 6 hours, but more like 10 hours. I cut my Smoking Tex down last night to 190 and put some barbecue sauce in here and let them cook real slow. So I've already checked them. They're real tender. But let's take a look at these, and what I'll do is bone this off, take the meat off the bones, then add some barbecue sauce and maybe a little extra garlic or whatever and season them up. You're going to make some great sandwiches. So let's open them up and see what they look like. Okay, friends, let's see what we have. I think that we're going to have some very tender neck roast. Yeah, boy, look at this. Now what I really want to show you is how tender, look at this. That, my friends, is going to make some great barbecue. Look at this. Now even with a doe, what was a pretty tough cut of meat has become, well, I just want to show you, we're talking fall off the bone tender. Chunk that out there for the raccoons. Look at this. So you couldn't get the meat any more tender than this, folks. Look at this. Just bone it right off of there. And what we're going to have is some really tender, boned out meat. Get this one out of there. That's about it, folks. So, one more, throw that out. And what I'll do, I'll season this with a little more barbecue sauce. Make sure all the bones are out. I'll put a little more barbecue sauce on this and then also add some, taste it of course, but maybe add a little bit more garlic, a little more black pepper, and you're talking about a good sandwich meat. That's going to make it. So there's your neck roast put to good use. Of course, this one right here, we're going to do the same thing. Maybe it's a little bit bigger. That'll make a lot of sandwiches though, folks, for camp or wherever. Hope you enjoyed our little cooking segment. Let's get back to the show.
We would like to thank good friends Brian Davis and Scott Campbell for inviting us down to help them with their deer management program and to allow us to bring home a little venison for the freezer. We experienced amazing sunrises and sunsets, watched countless deer, turkey, and quail while sitting in some of the best blinds that overlook deep draws in the landscape and beautiful mesquite flats that hold some very mature whitetails. We shared a lot of stories, great food, and many laughs during our stay. We vowed to meet again in the spring to bow hunt turkeys. We want to thank you for joining us here on this week's episode. Please join us right back here for next week for another exciting adventure on A Sportsman's Life.